All right, this is Jonathan Kirsting from the Pittsburgh Technology Council bringing you one mic stand. And today I'm pretty excited because we have repeat offenders here on the one mic stand. Actually, this is kind of crazy because I think this is like our 38th or 39th or 40th episode. And Alejandro Sklar here from PPE Connect Pittsburgh was, I think, my fourth guest. And that was like maybe 3 weeks ago. And I enjoy talking to you so much, Alejandro, because you came up with this cool idea with Davit over here that he joined us for this podcast, all about getting PPE to people and sourcing it and connecting it and getting it all within the Pittsburgh area. I thought it was just a tremendous, tremendous thing to be doing. And now you're growing it and you're expanding it, and we're going to talk about that today. So I'm so excited that within like 3 weeks, you're just like busting this thing up and just making it bigger and better. So that's why I'm just pumped, man. I love the work that you're up to.
Well, thanks, Jonathan. Hopefully in the 3 weeks that have passed, my hair has gotten bigger. Maybe people can still recognize me.
We all have nice COVID quaffs going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
But no, we're super psyched to be back on. I appreciate you doing this again with us.
Absolutely. And so real fast, I always like to just do a little reintroductions just in case someone's joining this for the first time. They can kind of get a little of each of your backgrounds, and then we'll talk about just real quickly the whole concept of PPE Connect, and then really the big news is talking about the face shields that you guys are going to be putting together at a really low cost and getting them out to lots and lots of people in need as a way to kind of, keep ourselves prepared in case there's a resurgence and all that kind of good stuff. Cause we're all learning that like, we may not be all the way over this thing yet as far as that goes. And we don't want to be caught with our face shields down. So, so Alejandro, let's start with you. Give a quick little back on yourself, and then Davit will then talk about what you're up to and how you guys connected to make this happen. Cause like I say, this is one of those cool stories. It only happens in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, sure. So I'll be quick. So I moved to Pittsburgh about 7 years ago for grad school out of Carnegie Mellon, and quickly got involved with the startup community. I had a 3D printing company, started out about 7 years ago maybe, and got really connected with the manufacturing community here, startup community, and basically when the pandemic sort of came to the United States about 5 weeks ago, Davit and I, we're good friends. He's also involved with the startup community. He reached out and we just talked a little bit and basically threw out this idea about trying to get a website up to get an understanding, just as a great starting point,
right?
A very tangible starting point, to get a site up where we could get requests to see what needs were out there, where were the shortages in our area, and try to find equipment that was already available for donation. And then
it's like the low-hanging fruit, just going
low-hanging fruit
there and bring it together, right?
And then we started doing that and doing distribution, and that all kind of snowballed. We talked about this last episode. At this point, I think we've distributed, it's on our website in real time. I think we've distributed about 13,500 items.
Yeah.
Some of that has been face shields. And I'm happy to go into that in more detail. This is about, and so we're sort of transitioning now, but that's kind of the long and short of it.
Cool. So Davit, what's your background and what got you hanging out with Alejandro and causing all this trouble?
Mistakes. That's what got me hanging out.
I had a feeling it was something like that.
So, I mean, my background just quickly is I've been a resident of Pittsburgh or the Pittsburgh area for the last 20 years or so. I actually originally immigrated here with my family from Bulgaria. So went to high school here, went to University of Pittsburgh, joined a startup right after I graduated, and I helped. I was kind of a part of the original team. I was one of the first hires, and helped manage and run the business for about 4 years. And during that time, Alejandro's company shared an office with us. In fact, it kind of more or less we shared an office all 4 years.
I love it. That's so cool.
In different buildings, but we more or less were in the same office space during the whole time.
Very
So
cool.
that's how I met him. And then actually a couple of years ago, I also started, this is the mistake of helping him build his tiny house. So that was
there you go.
He still likes me, so we're on good terms.
Are there any 3D printed parts in your tiny house?
I wish they were.
That's a story for another episode.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is why I think it's so cool in Pittsburgh that you guys kind of come together like this, and then you create something as awesome as the PPEConnectPGH.com site to just really help out in this crazy time. As you mentioned, lots of supplies, PPE being distributed, but then you were realizing that there's some digital printing of face shields that was kind of going on, and now you realize you can expand on that. Give us more details on this. This is the big news we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
So pretty early on, the community, the maker community, got out a design for face shields, and you saw this sort of grassroots movement, which we were a part of here in Pittsburgh. There's been a couple other efforts doing this. Where you could provide face shields to medical providers, and it's very low cost, and it was quick to set up. That grassroots movement, actually, I have some face shields. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that initially, these were the initial designs. So this is a 3D printed unit. So the top part here is 3D printed, and then this is laser cut.
Gotcha.
On there.
And you can see it's easy to put together. There's like 5 or 6 snaps that then attach the shield, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so the good thing about the shields is they're really quick to make, and they provide a lot of good protection to any equipment you might be reusing under, and they're easy to reuse,
right?
And disinfect.
You can clean them very easily, I guess, right? Because they're hard plastic.
So there's the 3D printed version. This came out of it's a Prusa design. It's been changed a little bit, but it came out of the Czech Republic. This is actually a local version that's fully laser cuttable.
Wow.
And you can produce the parts sort of quicker. This came out of Protohaven. It was designed by Devin Montgomery.
Very cool.
Protohaven.
Love Protohaven, man. That's why that place exists, to do kick-ass work like this.
And so, there's pros and cons to both designs, but this got set up really quickly. We started working with a couple of the university maker spaces. So Pitt's Mac Foundation, the Robert Morris University, they've been 3D printing.
Yeah, they've got a lot of capacity there, man. There's such a cool little hidden gem.
They have a nice printing farm. And so, and then also RE Squared was a local manufacturer that was helping us. So with this sort of distributed grassroots movement, we've been able to put out, I think, close to 4,500 of these face shields over the past.
Already, 4,500. Wow.
Yeah, and that's actually distributed to two actual locations.
Cool. Where'd they go? Yeah.
And there's been other efforts in the area doing this. Day Owl, which is Thread International, has been putting these out using some designs. 3D-PPGH was another effort in the region doing this. So we did a good job of sort of addressing that initial need in the medical community. And then recently, the question on everyone's mind is what's going to happen in the next weeks and months.
Exactly. Right.
And what really we've been able to set up is we actually very quickly, and I have to give a good shout out to Bridgeway Capital. We got a grant from Bridgeway Capital through their Mon-Made program.
Yep. Know those guys well.
And Katie Scheibel who works on Mon-Made was great. Within 2 days, we got a grant request to them. Got money. It was
2 days.
Incredibly quick. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole purpose of this grant is there is an injection molded design that came out of CNC based on the 3D printing design. You can see the similarities here.
Yeah.
And we basically found an injection molder, local injection molder, Parker Precision Molding. And we got a grant from Bridgeway Capital to cover the initial tooling for this. So now that is set up, it's in place, and we've also ramped up. The visors are actually going to be made. This clear part is going to be made and die cut in a much quicker way with Reed and Whitting. So they're a local manufacturer. And so now the point of this is twofold. First off, to make sure in case there's any subsequent waves of this disease, which hopefully doesn't happen, the region is prepared to address that surge.
Yeah, you now have the plan and the print down to where you can start scaling these as you need them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, the second part of this is as businesses and industries outside of the medical field begin to open up, Governor Wolf just said May 15th, we're going into yellow. There are places that we believe could use this equipment. We've started getting these out to the Port Authority, for instance, for their bus drivers. I'm sure people have seen shortages of meats, for instance, in grocers. That's because there's been some flare-ups in the meatpacking industry.
Yep.
So there's other industries, and I want anyone listening, if they know of at-risk industries that in the coming months and weeks are going to be opening up.
Reach out to you guys.
Use this.
Yeah. Can I wear one of those when I go to work?
Honestly, yeah.
I'm saying, man, I'm going to wear one of those around. And here's the best part about that. Like, it's breathable, right? Because in the summertime, when you're walking around outside, if you got the mask on, it restricts that. You got airflow coming underneath there, but you still got the protection in the front. So if someone sneezes on me, it's like I could turn myself into a salad bar really fast. The big old sneeze bar right around my head.
I got to keep up with you, Jonathan. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can wear other equipment under this.
Right. You can wear it. See, it's like
the
top coat of protection. I love it, man. It's so cool.
And the use for these are typically you have a mask which protects you from aerosol, and actually filters the air out. But that doesn't help with actual droplets. So that's where
the splatter, as I call it.
What was that?
The splatter.
Yeah.
Should always come with that sound effect.
Yeah.
Sound effects are great.
So the shield helps with that, and also it protects any masks to prolong their life. And what we're seeing right now is actually there's a growing demand on our website, not so much of N95s, but a growing demand for surgical masks, which are going to be used for people who might not be dealing directly with COVID patients, or for patients, or as places start to open up, they're going to get more patients and traffic. So everyone coming in gets a surgical mask. And then, but you compare a surgical mask with a shield, which is what the CDC says is kind of the second best form of protection in terms of your head and face area. Obviously, it's N95 and the shield is advised, is preferred, but the surgical mask and shield is acceptable as well.
How about a tinted one from them outside in the sun?
We can get one of those like visors that change colors.
I want that. I want to change colors, dude. That'd be perfect.
We'll get one specifically made for you, Jonathan, if you need a special design.
But I wanted to go back. You asked a question there when we said how many we've distributed, where things have gone.
Mm-hmm.
So distribution has. When we started this, we were always trying to do a more of a peer-to-peer model, where we had entities and individuals come to us, request things, and if we had it, we would deliver it directly to them. Now, we have also been coordinating with Allegheny County Emergency Operations Center, making sure they're aware of where we distribute things. And so we had a small fleet of medical students who helped us distribute these items. We had an inventory of both N95 surgical masks and these face shields, which we were really able to get based on procurements made by the Allegheny County Medical Society, which is a nonprofit organization. It's not related to the county. So they were able to raise some funding, which helped our effort of buying materials and producing the face shields, while they also were able to find a local source for N95s. And we helped distribute those. So where they went is a variety of different places. We have first responders, we have private clinics, we have some independent hospitals like pediatric hospitals. They're smaller size, for example, the Children's Home on Penn Avenue. And so it's been a very wide spread of different entities. And in fact, on our website, we have a map that has all the entities on the map.
Very
And
cool.
we zoom out because we've covered a lot of ground.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you can the equipment has gone out to a variety of different entities, both in Allegheny County, Beaver, Westmoreland, Washington County. So it's pretty wide dispersed. And
this is a platform you guys could license out to other regions, because I love the fact this is like hyper local, right? It's being able to be, because everyone's closer to where the things are, so you can see and match immediate needs, less shipping and things like that. You can get things done quicker. And to me, that's why I think this is so genius, is that it's solving this huge problem by keeping things local and just mining really deep into what's happening here and then connecting it to where it needs to go. And now making the stuff and then getting it to where it needs to go, hopefully in designer colors like the one I'm going to get. So that's pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, no, and that's absolutely right. And I do, that does give me a chance. We are sort of, we're flexible as the time has changed. Even in these 5 weeks, things have changed. And we are sort of transitioning, especially now that we have these injection molded versions in place. We will probably be expanding our reach a little bit more than just the Pittsburgh region.
Great, that's awesome. So cool you can do that. Yeah.
I wanted to mention. And we are able, one call to action, if anyone is sort of knows of at-risk businesses and industries that might use this, even if they're, laboratories, facilities, schools that might be opening up some of their facilities, we are really looking to get in touch and be able to do some of these larger orders now, even if they're a little bit outside of the region we have been servicing.
That's
so
cool.
Last thing, there, with the injection molded versions, there have been some optimizations that can happen. This is the 3D printed version. It didn't have this cover. So ultimately, it's just a more protective. You can see it's a little hard to see, but this visor also extends a lot.
Yeah, it wraps back further to cover more of your face. Then the top part where we're on the first one, there's a gap. On the one you have, it's capped off.
Capped off, and it extends all the way over here.
Right.
So it provides a lot more coverage, and we've done a lot of testing to make sure that they're easy to use.
Yeah, you can move around. You have mobility with it and everything like that. And do they fog up at all or anything like that? Is there a type of material where you can breathe pretty heavy and it won't?
I haven't heard of any of that. Let's try a test here.
Give it a shot, man. Start doing jumping jacks or something and see if you can fog it up. No fog.
I'm just doing the ice cream parlor thing.
Yes. No fog, man. No fog.
No promises there, but
yeah, no, it's so cool, man. I just love it. I can only imagine what's next, because I know this isn't the end of it for you guys. You're going to keep finding new things to do and get it out there to be helpful. And it's such a cool story.
Well, thanks. I mean, hopefully it's not needed too much longer, but the point is to be prepared.
Exactly. And
yeah, I mean, that was the biggest goal here, was we're transitioning into this injection mold and die cut option more in the sense of creating an infrastructure that is local or regional, or even can be used by any entities quickly. Honestly speaking, right now there's been actually, we obviously don't have a holistic view of things, and we're very our inside information is very biased to what comes to us through our website. But what we've seen is, as I said, there was a big spike a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, very heavily on N95s, some face shields as well. And now that spike of N95s, that demand it appears to be changing. There are now more non-traditional procurement options. So there are now, N95s are now available in the Pittsburgh region. They're not the traditional medical PPE providers. Right. So we're seeing a difference in the demand, and honestly, demand is kind of slowing down, at least coming to us. I don't know.
I want to hear that. That's cool. Okay.
On our website, at least. But what we're seeing is we're now seeing different entities come to us. For example, almost all the requests coming in towards us the last week have been from dentists who are now
yeah, because they want to get back to business now, and their shields are perfect for them.
Yeah, so the shields are really good for them, and also they don't have N95s. It's not something they typically buy.
Would stock,
So
right? That's not in their
go to
arsenal,
these
right?
options, because the traditional vendors are restricting your purchasing based on your historical purchase history. So if you've never bought N95s, they're probably not going to give you N95s.
Right.
To manage your inventory better. So we have a lot more requests coming from dentists who are reopening. And in fact, we're now also talking to farmers who are hoping to have their farmers markets in the next 3 weeks, when the season starts, and they need some protection and they want to keep things safe. So
this is what we mean by you guys are able to help wherever the need is. That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, so this is what we mean by we wanted to create the infrastructure so that it exists to address any potential different entities or a flare-up. So, from our perspective, our involvement is changing, but we're looking to just have this available, and if something happens, we want people to know about it. That hey, this infrastructure exists. If there's no demand for it right now, great, but it's there.
You can scale up and down just as is needed. That's what's so genius about it, all the way around.
And we are going to utilize the Henry Ford model. If you can get it in any color you want, and as long as that color is black.
But I get special designer colors, right? Because
as long as that color is black, right?
I love black. It's my favorite color.
We have a lot of different shades of black.
There are. Super cool. You guys are too much fun to hang out with. Just can't thank you enough for spending time with us here and telling your story, because it keeps growing. I have this feeling I'm going to have you back on in a few weeks because something else is going to be happening that you guys are going to be addressing and making something good out of. I love it, guys. You're the best.
Thanks, Jonathan. When all this is behind us, we're going to try to throw a big party with everyone who's been involved. You better show up.
Oh, I'll be there, dude. And I'll have one of your masks on so no one spills beer all over me or anything like that. Awesome, guys.